Welcome to Cosmic Confessions, a brand new Cosmic Baseball podcast that'll bring you insights one on one with players from both the Glow Mojis and the Chili Peppers. I'm your host, CrashLit, and I'm super excited to be joined by our very first guest, Marcus Judd, better known as Juddy the Kid. Be sure to follow him on social media at Juddy the Kid. Juddy, thank you so much for joining me as the podcast's first guest here on our debut episode.
Thank you, Crash. I appreciate it. It's really an honor to have been selected, especially being a new guy. So I take it with a large amount of gratitude.
Absolutely. Obviously, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We're everywhere on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all those sites. You should be there. We will also be up on YouTube with the video version. And honestly, yeah, that's pretty much all our announcements in terms of everything we got to make sure you know. But obviously, yeah, super excited for this. So, Juddy, let's get into the questions. Obviously, I do want to
Let's do
go
it.
back a little bit to the beginning and ask just
Okay.
what got you just into baseball and how old were you when that happened?
Oh man, I've been around baseball ever since I could walk. I've had a bat in my hand, a ball in my hand since I was north of 3. As soon as I came out the womb, my dad played ball, my brother played ball, so it's a big baseball family I grew up in.
Can you talk about just kind of how your family's like just time in baseball really, shaped you both, obviously not just as a player, but also as a person?
Wow, man. They always say that it takes a village, growing up with my dad playing ball, I got to see him play baseball at the high level and to be able to watch him and have his entire team pour into me and my brother that the way that they did, they were more like uncles, you know. They had a team in New Jersey who named the Irvington Cardinals who would travel around the country and play ball. I'm talking championships in Arizona, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and they're a group of ex-pros, and I consider all of them my uncles. And being around them helped raise me and my brother through baseball. And we're really blessed to have each and every one of them pour into me and my brother. My dad and my brother made a lot of sacrifices on my behalf, when it comes to the game itself. Dad worked 25 years in corrections. And through the process, he relied on my brother heavily to make sure he was there for me and to make sure that I got the work in when I needed to get in. The difference is me and my brother never had animosity towards one another. We have a little bro this or that, but when it comes to the game of baseball, we were outside practicing, taking ground balls, throwing, hitting in the net in the garage, the whole 9 yards. And on the weekends, my dad was back forth, trying to get guys to baseball games. So it's been a blessing, especially because he was always asked to be a coach. So having my brother who played ball, my dad who played ball, and for them to pour into me, I wouldn't be here where I am without him, as far as baseball is concerned.
I do want to ask you about just I don't want to necessarily call it a rivalry since you said you guys didn't really, clash, had much animosity towards each
Yeah.
other. But at the same time, obviously, I have a younger brother, and there's just always, no matter what you do, there's always just that competitive spirit for sure. And you inevitably clash a little bit. Let's be
Yeah.
real. But
No,
how
you're
was it
you're
like just
absolutely
whether,
right.
but how was that like, competing with him just when you were a kid and just how did that, help make you, I guess, both into, into like like make you into a competitor that you are today?
So I'm actually blessed with my brother. People always question my mom and my dad about how they get me and him not to fight. Me and my brother don't really fight. We have our disagreements, but we always talk it out. But when it comes to baseball, it was never I'm better, you're better. It was my brother perceived it as if I put in the work and he sees me put in the work and I end up having success based upon that work, he will see it and want it too. And anytime we were together, that was a difference maker in both of our careers because he had a purpose in working to succeed, and I had a vision of someone I wanted to kind of be like, but everyone wanted to be Marcus. I need you to be better than Mike. And my brother told me to my face, ever since I was little, I need you to be better than me. Like I'm going to do what I have to do to prove to you that you can do it, but I need you to be better than me. That will fulfill my purpose in the game of baseball. And for us to be 8 years apart, it's a real big deal. I think if we were a little closer in age, like played at the same time, it would have been a different monster. But they poured a lot into me.
Yeah, I can really just obviously loved your response there. And I do want to ask you just what made you
Yeah.
stay with baseball growing up, especially, when times were getting tough, especially obviously you're 5'4", and obviously, got overlooked a lot in your career. So just what really just made you stay with the game? Even obviously just besides obviously, your family just really
Mhm.
obviously heavily invested just into the game of baseball.
It's interesting you asked that, Crash, because I was three sport athlete coming up through high school, and I ran indoor track. I played football, and I played baseball. Football was the sport that if baseball wasn't gonna work out, because baseball family, football was. I was a running back, and not I mean I was pretty decent at the game. There was times where I was getting recruited out of middle school to go to a top high school in the state. But when we got freshman year, I had an okay year for football concern. Track, I'm not the fastest. I'm really not. Track was more of a conditioning for football, but I ran quick enough to get some medals, but I wasn't any type of blazing speed, track speed like my brother was. And once I realized I needed to make a decision about school is when it hit me. We moved my freshman year, we won a state championship in New Jersey. And no, my sophomore year. My sophomore year we won a championship, so we're coming back. And my dad's like, we're moving to Florida. I was in New Jersey. We're moving to Florida, and you need to make a decision. Like I know you do both. When you go to Florida, you can't run winter track. You're gonna be playing baseball all year round. So that's one of the reasons he made the decision alongside the most important thing is being close to my mom. And we ended up getting there. Football team, huge. Not saying I couldn't compete, but the offers freshman and sophomore year, or the looks, so to speak, were rolling in from colleges and MLB scouts already for baseball and nothing for football. So that was the easier decision for me. It was hard because football was something I was really passionate about. Um, and that was the decision that had to be made, especially junior year, which was ultimately the greatest decision I've ever made in my athletic career.
I now want to ask just obviously just what adversity did you face in just baseball? Obviously, you know, just how does that, obviously, it's I've heard obviously, can affect you because like, coaches certainly scouts, they certainly look for a certain type of baseball player
That's correct.
and just how does that motivate you, that adversity of saying you're too small, so you'll never be good enough, or just whatever they're telling you, just how did you just deal with it? And how did it just motivate you to just go out and be like, no, I'm gonna prove you guys all wrong.
You got time for a story, Crash? um,
What we're here for. We're here for stories. This is a story.
awesome. So I was overlooked my entire life. Past 12 at least. 12, everyone's usually around the same height. Kids can play, things like that. Through my high school career, I've always been undershadowed. Even freshman year, hearing it from coaching staff. Um, when I was young, saying that, oh, he's not going to go play football because he's too small, he's too this, he's too that. When I walk into a field, I go to a perfect game tournament or big baseball tournaments. I'm not the first guy to get looked at. I'm not the one scouts are pointing to. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Right? I'm not a 5 o'clock hitter. I don't show up to BP and hit bombs. I use the whole field because that's my game. And being a shortstop and then going to second base, um, I was always overlooked my entire life, you know, and it started to get to me personally. So when I moved down to Florida, I made the decision that I'm going to do whatever it takes, given the circumstances, to give myself the best shot. If Jose Altuve or Tony Kemp and other guys who are shorter in stature can do it, there's no reason why I can't either. My freshman year, I got down to Florida. I was at my first camp, I think it was, and Astro Scout came to me and he had saw me take BP ground balls. He said, "Son, I want you to know this. I can't really talk to you right now because you're a freshman, whatever the case is. But I like what I see. I want you to understand something. Jose Altuve is no bigger than you are. Don't listen to 5'6". He's your height. I've been around him in spring training for 5, 6 years. He's your height, so keep pushing. So that on top of my father always pushing me, like, don't worry about your size. You can hit this. This is the positive affirmations I got from my circle. really kept me going, and at the start I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to be the very best baseball player at this height and make a name for myself and do the things. And what I realized through the process was it's not always up to you. Freshman year, I ended up going to Florida A&M, highly recruited, all of this stuff, and I ended up being redshirted. Hit me hard, understandable. Didn't prepare the way I was supposed to, but over the winter, I come back in the spring. I'm performing pretty decent. I finally get an opportunity to travel with the team, but I'm not playing. Halfway through the season, one of our guys goes down. I'm asked to play. And when I was asked to play, I didn't really get that many opportunities the rest of the season. Then I got released. So I was at a crossroads because that late down the line in May, most of the schools have already done their recruiting and gave out all their scholarship money. So I have nowhere to go. I'm making phone calls, phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Coach Marty Smith over at College Central Florida in Ocala, they make it to the JUCO National Championship almost every year. He took a chance on me because he recruited me in high school. He said, you're gonna come. We may or may not have room for you, but I want to see what you can do. So I went into his summer league, won the batting title. He said, okay, we'll give you a walk-on spot. One hardest worker in the weight room, earned the ability to be able to split time, but being told no lit a fire under me. But God had to slow me down a little bit. Right before playoffs, I suffered a herniated disc in my L5. This is, by the way, the first time I'm saying this publicly. Crash. So, um, I suffered a herniated disc in my L5. I was on painkillers throughout the whole rest of the playoffs just so I can swing. Come to find out, we actually get the diagnosis is this is what it is. Doctor said surgery or PT and never play baseball again. I said neither one of those are an option. So crying to my mom, she's with me at the time, and she's like, "Son, it'll be okay. We'll be figure something out. This, and this." I get a call from a school in Jacksonville, Ever Waters, which we're actually going to be near on tour. Coach Reggie Johnson, because I didn't want to lie to a college coach while making these phone calls. I'm not going to lie and tell them I'm not hurt. It's not cool. So some of my scholarships got pulled. Coach Reggie said, "We want you." I talked to our trainer. We can get you back on the field. I don't know how long it'll take. The goal is to have you ready by the spring. If you're not ready by the spring, we'll get you ready by next fall. But we want you here. So at that, right next to the same in the same town as my mom lives, it was something that had to be done. Thank God. I never forget this man. He changed my career. Larry Bell was our athletic trainer. He's with Stetson right now, I believe. And recovery time was 6 to 8 months. I changed my diet, went full plant-based, did the whole cleanse, everything. And he put me through 90 days of what I thought was the hardest workouts I've ever been through. And they were so simple. But he got me back on the field in a month and a half. And on the first pitch in inner squads, I hit a ball like 370 pull side gap for a bomb. And he told me that's why you're here. And ever since then, I've had to maintain my entire career. But I think being when you I thought at the time that this is what I want to do. I'm gonna be a big leaguer. This, and this, and God had a different purpose for me, And I thought I genuinely believe I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to prove everybody wrong. But after my injury and after my career, my dad said, "Son, do it for the people who believe in you. Because whether you do good or bad, we still gonna be here. So don't do it for the naysayers. Don't do it for the people who think you're not big enough. Do it for the people who believe in you." And that's exactly what I did. Um, Senior year rolls around. I'm looking to get signed, free agent. COVID hits. All the cross checkers, all the scouts say there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do. So I go try to play overseas. This is before the draft league was started. Played in Puerto Rico for a summer. Nothing come of it. Come back in the States, try to go to Colorado. Nothing comes up for it. So I didn't know what to do. I get a random phone call for the USPBL in Michigan. Go up there, earn a spot in the trial, earn a spot spring training, play the whole season. I'm thinking I'm gonna get axed back the next year. I don't. So I try to go to the Pioneer League. Was able to go to the YOLO High Wheelers, get out to the YOLO. I played a week, and I'm offered a spring training. I'm offered a strength and conditioning job because I have a background in strength and conditioning and certifications, trained big leaguers, the whole 9 yards. And I turned it down, so I came back home. Um, then I get a call from our coach himself, Ray Ortega, Sensei. And he says, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me. We met at the Banana Ball tryout." And I remember. I was like, "Oh yeah." So we met at the Banana Ball tryout. We have this new initiative going on with USPBL. I can't give you all the details yet, but just know that this is happening and your name came up in conversation. Okay, cool. And I told Ray, I said, if I'm gonna come up there, I'm gonna play. But there's gonna be a lot asked of you, to help players in the league with content creation, to help with game celebrations and fan engagement and being on the news and doing interviews and commercials. I said, whatever you need me to do, I'm gonna do it. And it was that attitude that shifted my mindset on baseball. And I realized I had a purpose as opposed to just going out and playing it because I enjoyed the game. When you have a purpose for something, it wakes you up every morning, because you're blessed with the power and the knowledge to impact the lives of others. And that's what I was able to do. And here we are now, getting ready to tour the country and playing these big stadiums. And I can't say anything other than I'm blessed. So sorry for the long tangent, but that was my career in a nutshell.
Juddy, the fans, I believe, here want to hear your story, and hearing that, I think obviously is really inspiring the way you never gave up. But I do want to ask, were there's any? Did you ever like reach the point where you were thinking, "Screw this, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna get like a real job"? Did you ever think that? Did you ever like reach a point where you thought you might just give up, or is that just something that's not in your DNA?
No, it'd be naive for any of us to think that the negative thoughts and that they just don't exist. Anybody who says that, don't believe them. They exist. It's the decisions you make based upon those beliefs that separate you. Um, I did crash. Actually, I was this close. When I got told no in California, it kind of broke me. Jerome Williams, I never forget this. He leaned over the table while coach was outside trying to handle a phone call, and he said, I'm not telling you this because this is right after they released me. He said, I don't know if you know this, but if it's in your heart, you need to keep going. There's not a lot of organizations, and he's played in a lot of them, that can do the things you do. Talk very highly of me. Said if it's on your heart, you need to continue, because for you to inspire a coach, a player, just by doing the things you do is something special. Every clubhouse needs that. And then I cried. I cried for like 2 weeks. Didn't know what to do. Couldn't. Didn't really have. I thought that my identity was something different, and I decided to try and say, you know what? If I don't get a phone call, I'm just gonna go work in an office. So I called a great mentor of mine who owns a mortgage firm. His name's Robbie Sampson. Impacts the lives of millions. He owns a mortgage firm, and I asked him if I can have a job. I don't know anything about mortgages. Don't know anything about houses, the markets, none of that. So I did it. I was okay at my job. Wasn't the best, but I was decent at my job. I just communicate. And that's when I thought like, okay, I feel really uncomfortable. Like the people are amazing, but I don't feel comfortable. Something's not right. Because I was also going to, help out at the facility that I've been training at for like 5 years, here and there. And it's like something inside me just said, just pick up the bat, keep picking up the bat. So after a 9 to 5, I would go to the facility 4 days a week and still work out as if I wasn't, because something didn't feel right. Even though no phone calls, emails were coming around, they just didn't feel right. And then that's when I got the call to go to USPBL, like literally 2 months. 2 months after I had that deep down, I'm doubting it, I'm gonna quit, I'm just gonna work a job, trying to make some money. That call came in. And there was a lot of times throughout my career, especially in pro ball, where I was like, all right, what's next? But it was never a I quit moment except for that one time. Like I never actually physically said I quit baseball. Those words have never come out my mouth, and I don't think they ever will. It was always a okay, what's next?
And obviously, after that, you obviously got the offer. And what's it been like to be a part of Cosmic Baseball since you got here?
Man, this is his I I had told Ray and Jason this. I had to pull them aside. Um, I've never actually been a part of a baseball organization. And now you Crash, you guys have grown, right? To where you are now. Now there's 25 guys on each team with a full staff and the whole nine, right? And I've never met an organization with baseball players that can come together for the same goal and purpose of putting on the best show, but wanting each and every person to be the best version of themselves. Like on the first day, I walk in and I meet 15 guys I've never met before, dap me up and give me a hug. Yo, Juddy, what's up, baby? Boo, boo, boo. I'm like, it is a legitimate culture shock because everybody that I've met so far is a genuine human being. And everybody knows how to turn it off and turn it on. Like they can still have a genuine conversation and then go impact the masses. And to combine that with baseball, it's like my oasis, I guess.
I want to ask you, obviously, you talk about just, just that bond you formed and just obviously, really, I guess, kind of, obviously not just being a baseball player, but also, becoming an entertainer too. And just how have you really been able to lean in, being the small guy, being the little guy, being 5'4", and, obviously both as just a player, but also just for the entertainment aspect of Cosmic Baseball here with the Glow Mojis?
Yeah, so I learned to accept it, my height, because when I was younger, it kind of affected me a little bit, but it didn't affect me too much because I put in a little bit of work and got to see the results, you know? Like if I think if I just played another sport, it'd be different. One that may require you to be a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster, right? But because there's a pitcher on the mound who has to throw to a catcher, and I have the opportunity to make contact with it at any given time, you have to come to me. Defense has the ball, you have to throw to me. But once my bat hits the ball, you're not going to care if I'm 5 foot. You're going to care about not getting to the baseball because it just got pissed on, you know? And like when I figured that out, when I told my dad and my brother, I said I want to stop batting at the bottom of the order and playing right field. I want to play shortstop like Mike, who's my brother. I was like 7. Spent the off season. I hit like 3 bombs the next year, my first one, and then I jumped to 44 on a small field. Like at what that year, I knew I could hit, and nobody could tell me otherwise. And that constant reinforcement. So like being small now at this level, I understand I have to work a little bit harder than most guys. I understand that. But because I've been doing it for a long period of time, it feels like a habit. Like it's a habit for me to make sure I eat the right amount of meals, make sure I get the right amount of sleep, and make sure I'm working out to keep up with the strength that these guys have. I have to be strong in my own game. I can't just drop base hits. I have to drive the ball. I have to be able to move side to side to cover the ground that bigger guys make look a little easier. So pouring into my body is like something that is a necessity for me to continue to compete at the high level. More so than a guy who's 6'4", 240, and all he has to do is touch a baseball and it goes 500 feet. So that's why baseball is unique and why I love it so much.
For sure. And obviously, how you've obviously, you while you've been leaning into that, how's it just been adjusting to that, style and brand of Cosmic Baseball compared to, traditional ball? I mean, obviously you talk about just how you have to like certain
Yeah.
things you have to do, but how do you just, adjust to that too while also, still kind of, having, I guess, is it the baseball mentality? I mean, I never really played baseball other than a few camps, so I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
ball in the same way that you do.
It's all good.
But how do you how do you just embrace that, I guess, of just, just still kind of keeping that, I guess, same intensity of how do do everything that you have to do, not just with the ball or on the field, but also just
What else?
all the entertainment side of it too.
Yeah. So it's I love that you asked that. So it's kind of like it's like God's cheat code a little bit, right? He blessed me with the knowledge, the entertainment, the funniness to be able to be myself and not really care what people think and in a good way, right? But being shorter and then having been given the nickname since I was younger as Juddy the Kid, and I'm already small, like that is the perfect like entendre. I don't even know what to call it. But like when I got to like really dive into how these guys entertain, like a lot of the returners, I said, our logo has a spinning top hat. Why can't I just stay who I am and just dive more into it and be a kid? Play the game like the game is supposed to be played. It's a kid's game played by grown men. So let me get a spinning top hat and act like a kid. And some people may think, "Oh my God, that probably is embarrassing." No, it's not. It's fun for me. I get to be a kid every day at practice in a game, but still put on a show, but perform because all the hard work has been put in. Now it's just time to literally have fun and play the game like a kid. Actually, you still got to play the game the right way, right? But like I'm in an environment where I can be myself and play like a kid and use my height to my advantage. Like when I found out that we do fungo ball force, oh, this year, I'm telling you, I'm gonna perfect that. Why? Because I'm probably gonna get walked a lot, right? So like that plays into the role that the organization calls for, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Juddy, I don't think it's like crazy. I mean, I'm wearing caution tape right now as we speak. So keep in mind who you're dealing with in that regard. But
Yes,
on that
yes.
note, I do want to ask, where is your spinning top hat, my friend?
Can I go get
You
it?
don't have to
Can I
go
go get it?
find it now. It's fine. But if
Okay,
you don't have to
okay, okay,
find it now.
okay.
But I
Y'all
was just
see it.
wondering.
Y'all will see
I was
it.
just.
I
I know. I'm just
Media
giving you.
day.
I know.
Media
I
day
was
is
just poking
tomorrow.
a little
I'm
fun
throwing
at
it
you.
on.
I just wanted to poke a little fun at you for that, obviously,
Yeah.
just because obviously you've really dived into it. And obviously, I mean, obviously just the way it seemed like at that first dinner when I kind of met you, met all the guys, just the way they really seemed to embrace you and just seemed like you're really able to be comfortable, really, lean into, I guess, just your brand kind of just as a player and then also just as an entertainer. So it's been really cool to see.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and it's a big testament to all of you guys on the operation side and the entire team, the both teams. Like everybody, nobody's like, "What's this kid doing? Look at this, look at that." Like you would get in another place. Like everyone's like, "Yo, he's got a top hat. Let's go, Juddy. We love it. Yo, you got to do that the whole year." Like that's how can I not flourish in an environment that is just pouring into you? So like I'm excited.
I do want to ask you, obviously, what's just been the most rewarding part of just being a part of Cosmic Baseball? Well, you still haven't officially made your debut on the field. Obviously, crazy to think it's just over 2 weeks away at the time of recording. But what's
Right.
just been the most rewarding part of just being part of the organization since you got here?
You know, it's easy to say like the perks of playing in stadiums and having this cool gear, but like genuinely it's all these guys on the team. Everybody on this team has been through something or gone through something, and the amount of reassurance and support you get from one another, there is nobody trying to battle it out for starting positions and oh, I need to get my reps or this rep. No, it's like, yo, Judge, you hit yet? No, go ahead, bro. You hit one. Yo, stay there. Whatever you're working on, that's it right there. And then when I'm doing the entertainment, like, no, Judge, do it. You do it. Like, and that's coming from everybody across the board. Like everybody on both teams are just pouring into each other and supporting one another in every aspect of the game and entertainment. And I couldn't be more grateful for it because coming from solely pro thought mindset, like that's the complete opposite. You get the pro ball and Crash, I'm telling you, you get the pro ball and it's like until that lineup's written, me and you battling it out. We're gonna be cool, we're gonna be, yeah, what up, boy? Good job, good job. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you're not going to get this position from me, and I'm not coming out of any game. Like that's the mindset you have in pro ball. Like I'm going to play every single game. I got to battle it out. I have to succeed. This is like a turnaround. We already know we got to play ball, but the fact that everybody's supporting one another is bringing down tension, stress. I can go to practice and feel good about going to work. Like it's the guys on the team, man. I'm grateful because coaches coach, no disrespect to anybody in this organization, but organization, the staff, the coaches, they have a job to do. That is a fact. We do as ball players too. but nowhere in the job description on a contract does it say pour into your teammates. It's the non-tangible things that aren't a part of their job they're doing from day one. 15 minutes in. You know what I mean? Like that is the biggest thing that I'm grateful for.
Juddy, I do want to ask you now. Obviously, we've talked a lot about just how you've overcome adversity, being a 5'4" baseball player. But I do want to ask, what advice do you have to anyone out there? And it doesn't necessarily have to be for baseball, just anyone who's on the smaller side and just feels like they're getting overshadowed or overlooked by players taller than them.
My advice would be to give it everything you got, regardless of what it looks like. Every chance you get, give it everything you got. You have been dealt the cards you've been dealt, but you're dealt those cards for a reason. Just because you're smaller does not necessarily mean that you don't have something that someone needs to get to where you want to go. You possess the power, the strength, and the resilience to continue to show up each and every day to be the very best version of yourself. If you can find a few ways to continue to pour into yourself each and every day, regardless of the negative thoughts, regardless of the naysayers, regardless of the situation or circumstance, who you become in the process will be way more important than the dream. The process of becoming who you're meant to be and waking up every day with the understanding that if I do these things, I will be a better person a year from now. You have the power to do whatever you want in this world. It may take some time, but different people will take different routes to the same destination. Doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you continue to move forward. That's exactly why the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield. Understand where you come from, but understand and focus on where you're going. And don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Anybody.
I love that a lot. Just obviously, inspiring no matter just what you're trying to do. I think, and that's why I think it can just apply to so many, not just sports, but just anything, any goal you're trying to achieve. I think that's super applicable. And Juddy, I do want to ask now, what's the best advice you've ever gotten throughout your life?
I've had so many people pour into me. Ah, man. Let's see. It's a quote by Denzel Washington, actually. Or I heard him say it. I don't actually know the original of the quote, but it's those who say they can and those who say they can are both usually right. Those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right. So decide to be the one that says I can.
All right, so finally, Juddy, last question I got for you. It's not so much a question, but I'm going to give you the floor here, my friend. And just, is there anything that you want to say to all the Cosmic Baseball fans out there who are coming to see you, your Glow Emoji teammates, or even just the Chili Peppers? Is there anything you just want to say to them ahead of the season?
Yes. This organization has thought of everything that you can think of outside the box to bring the very best experience in baseball that I have ever seen. And I get to play it. But the fact of the matter is you are about to witness something that has never some things that have never been done on a baseball field. And to be a part of that, to witness it, to come see, to come hang out, to come indulge the entire cosmic experience, I truly believe it'll be something to talk about for years to come. So if you want to be the guy at the Christmas party or the woman at the Christmas party to brag about what they saw when the Glow Mojis beat the Chili Peppers consistently, to come check it out. And guess what? We'll be glowing, so you can't miss us. That's my message. Glow Moji! Yeah, I had to hit that. I had to. That's it.
Juddy, thank you so much. A big thank you to Marcus Judd, also known as Juddy the Kid, for joining us here on Cosmic Confessions for the debut episode of the show. We are super excited to see Juddy out in Jacksonville on March 19th for the opening game of the Cosmic Tour. when the Glow Mojis will take on the Chili Peppers in Jacksonville. That'll be a 3-game series. Big thanks again to Juddy. I'm your host, CrashLit. We'll see y'all for the next episode of Cosmic Confessions.